Good morning. It is 20 to 12 Eastern time, or here in the UK it's 20 to 5 in the afternoon. I'm just going to recap my trade, one trade only today, and that was basically I nailed the entire the high of the day, and I got out at a decent place. So I'll just recap it right now. So on my screen is the MES, which is what I took today. If you were tuned into the live video today, just before the market opened, I gave a couple of levels. I talked about this area of supply on the hourly, and basically I was watching this area here for a rejection, and I had two trades for this area. I had a rejection, or I had a break and retest of the all-time highs long, and it had to clear 48.38 for it to be a long, or anywhere below 48.38 was a rejection and a short. And I also had this level available, which worth keeping an eye on, and that's for a bounce. And I was also watching this level here for a bounce as well. So 47.60, 47.76, and then I'm looking for a rejection at 48.38. So that's the levels. They're the areas I was watching. They're the areas I was really interested in today, and I wasn't interested in any other level. And basically, I wanted to wait for the market to come to me. We had a CPI or PPI. It's PPI today. This big green candle coming up, so that set precedence for the day. I'm monitoring. It's something strange, something interesting to watch. Yesterday we had PPI, which is this candle here. So we had this big long candle, and I always put a anchored VWAP on, which I've got that yellow line over here, and I also put the fibs on, so I want to monitor the 50%, and what I'm really looking for is the 50% area, but it also monitors the high and low of that candle. But the strange thing is, this grey line happens to be the exact bottom, the exact bottom of today's CPI candle. You can't say there's no coincidences there at all. So the levels are literally identical, and so you can see also we had the 50% candle. If you're watching, when it finally broke up, came back down, you could have taken a long off of that 50%. Let's zoom in a bit so we can see it. So this is today's PPI candle. I'll draw it there, that one there, this candle, and this is the anchored VWAP. You can see it honoured the VWAP, pretty much stayed above it all day, and importantly we had the 50% level, and it came straight into that. So came down to the point of control and also through the top of that candle, rejected the anchored VWAP, and it came back down and touched the 50%. So this is the reason I'm monitoring the data drops at 8:30, and I'm putting my 5-minute indicators on. So I'm watching a 5-minute chart, anchored VWAP, and look at that. You can see there came into the anchored VWAP and rejected. It came into the anchored VWAP, rejected there. Came into the 50% here. Oh no, that was, yeah, that's the 50%. So we broke out, came back to the 50%, bounced. Came down, touched 50%, bounced, and then we finally broke through it. And look at this, we came down, bottom of that candle, bounced, 50%, reject. So there's definitely a strategy I'm working on, because these data candles, I think what we're seeing is high areas where algos are sitting from when the data drop happens, and any trades which were missed originally will be taken when the price gets back to that area, and we can use them as future trades. I'm working on that. But like I said, the strangest thing was yesterday's low. What happens to be also yesterday's high candle. Hang on, let's go back to it again. Yeah, yesterday's CPI low is today's PPI low. They're all exactly identical, and you can't say that's not algos trading. That's the point I was trying to make. Anyway, let's go back into my trade. So this is a 5-minute chart for the ES or the MES. I was watching this area up here. I had a level, I also had that CPI high up there as well from yesterday, plus we're in this area of demand. But what I was really watching was the level 2. There was a lot of sellers above, but also liquidity started forming below. And also on the 2-minute chart we're getting lots and lots of topping tails. I didn't make my entry until there was no new highs on the 2-minute, and so my first entry was on this candle, if I recall. Yep, no, in fact my first entry was on this 5-minute candle based on the 2-minute chart, because we were no longer getting any new highs. Also, I was watching for declining volume. We had declining volume here, and we had declining volume was coming into this area, so it's starting to get tired at that point. Also, it's coming into this area of supply, and it's coming into a level I had identified previously. And the 2-minute chart also had declining volume as well. So that's the reason I took it. I had a predetermined stop as well. My stop was above here. That was my stop. And never entered into any drawdown at all in this trade. I got in pretty much at the high there. The next candle, it kind of poked up and then immediately rejected. And I originally did have an add waiting there, but I got in for a contract there, a contract there. So my average price was pretty much bar a couple of cents higher the day. And so I took my first profit when I got down to the anchored VWAP, and then I took my next profit when I touched the normal VWAP, the white line, and that was it. That's my trade. In fact, no, that's a slight lie. My first profit was when it touched the 20 moving average on the 5, not that one. I was willing to take that, but it looked weak still, so I moved my target down to the place where I saw the liquidity starting to build up, and it's also the highs from the pre-market as well, so that's why it's a good place. And it's a 20 moving average, and it's also a 50% mark on yesterday's CPI. That's why I keep it candles in for a couple of days. So basically, to sum up, I nailed the top, nailed the move. This entire move was the move I took, and it was a decent green day spread over 14 Apex funded accounts. So I don't fund accounts myself. Apex does. I recommend taking a look at Apex funding. Look at the links below. There is in the description. There's some discount code, and you can get up to 90% off. I think the current offer at the moment is 71% off, but you get up to 90% off. So use the code. Even if there's no offers on, you get up to 80% off without any offers on by Apex. But that was my entire move today. Decent move, and not a bad day. So that leaves me on a full green week, where I took my worst day was Tuesday, and I took 2 trades. Every day I've taken 1 trade and then walked, and it's probably been one of my most profitable weeks for a long time, and that's just taking 1 single trade. My worst day this month so far was the 3rd of January. I took 11 trades, and that's my biggest red day. And then Thursday, the next day, I was still on tilt mode, and I took 10 trades and made a loss. Not a big loss, but still a loss. And then let's have a look. Yeah, my best day, in fact, of the month so far was today for this big move down, and that's 1 trade, 1 win. So what can I do to improve? Ads and sizing up on good areas. I sized up slightly here because I knew it was a good area, hence why I added when I saw we weren't putting any new highs in. So I'm happy I took the extra size I wanted, but I didn't have an ad. And my original ad was to break. In fact, my original ad was to break below that area on the 5-minute chart, and but I didn't. In the end, I moved it, so I added up here to give me a better price. But what I should have done is hold a runner. So if I held the runner or looked for an ad, I should have got out there and looked for an ad off of these for the pullback. But it's a difficult one to take because you just don't know. We were above the VWAP, so you can't predict it's going to go down. So I went for profit over holding today, and that's it. So a pretty decent day, and leaves me fully green for the week. Every day was a green day this week. Okay, Thank you for watching.